If you're over 60, there's a vegetable in your fridge, one you've always called healthy, that could silently trigger brain damage while you sleep, no warning. One moment you're fine, the next, slurred speech or lost balance. As a brain doctor, I've seen it. Not from junk food, but from a vegetable that sparks a dangerous chain reaction in aging bodies. Today, I'll reveal 9 common vegetables that may harm your brain, and how to eat smarter without sacrifice. The last one? Most seniors eat it weekly, and it could be the most dangerous. Subscribe now to protect your brain. For decades, we've been told that spinach is one of the healthiest foods we can eat. It's celebrated for being rich in iron, magnesium, and fiber, a true nutritional powerhouse. Across the country, spinach is the star of countless salads, green smoothies, and side dishes, especially prevalent in meal plans designed for seniors, often with the best intentions. It sits there, a vibrant green symbol of wellness, promising vitality. But here's the shocking truth that most older adults are never told. Spinach, if consumed incorrectly or at the wrong time, may quietly become a hidden threat to your brain. Let me explain this critical interaction. As we age, our blood vessels naturally lose their youthful flexibility. Arteries that were once soft and responsive gradually become more rigid, less capable of adapting to the demands placed upon them. Now, consider the common presence of medications and supplements in older adults: calcium for bone density, vitamin D, and blood pressure drugs. This delicate balance within your bloodstream becomes far more fragile. Enter spinach, packed with oxalates, a naturally occurring compound. In younger, healthier bodies, oxalates are often flushed out with little issue. But in older adults, particularly those with reduced kidney function or who are taking high doses of calcium or vitamin D, these oxalates can begin to accumulate. This accumulation of oxalates, especially when it combines with calcium, doesn't just impact your kidneys. It can lead to the formation of calcium oxalate crystals in the bloodstream. These tiny, sharp crystals can begin to harden arteries, particularly the small, sensitive vessels that feed your brain. These narrowed, stiffened vessels significantly increase the risk of microclots, tiny blockages that, over time, can silently cut off oxygen to crucial brain cells. And when that microclot grows or shifts just slightly, it can form a full-blown ischemic stroke, the kind that steals your independence in an instant. I saw this devastating progression firsthand with Mr. Harold Brenner, a 76-year-old retired firefighter from Milwaukee. Harold was meticulously disciplined with his health. Every evening, like clockwork, he'd prepare a generous spinach salad, a sprinkle of feta, a slice of whole-grain toast. He also faithfully took his vitamin D and calcium supplements, convinced he was keeping his bones strong and his body robust. For years, he truly believed he was doing everything right for his health. But then, one winter morning, Harold didn't wake up the same. Harold was found slumped over his kitchen table, his coffee spilled, his words jumbled and nonsensical. He had suffered a silent stroke overnight. No chest pain, no warning headache, just a sudden and profound loss of speech and motor control. His brain scans revealed clear signs of vascular calcification, stiff, narrowed arteries in the brain, a roadmap of compromised blood flow. Blood work confirmed elevated calcium and oxalate levels, a red flag combination that pointed directly to the likely trigger. His consistent nighttime consumption of spinach, combined with his supplement use over many months. His body had quietly been forming the perfect conditions for blood clots until one finally formed in just the wrong place, cutting off blood flow to part of his brain. Harold survived, but his life was irrevocably altered. He no longer drives, and he walks with assistance, a constant reminder of that silent morning. His words, delivered with tears in his eyes, still echo in my mind. "Doc, I was just trying to do the healthy thing. I didn't know my salad could hurt me." It's a heartbreaking reminder that even good habits can turn dangerous if we don't adapt them to our age and unique health conditions. So here's what I want you to take from this. If you're taking calcium, vitamin D, or have any kidney or heart condition, limit spinach intake to morning hours and only after speaking with your doctor. Never assume that more greens always mean better health, especially after 65. Now, if this revelation about spinach surprises you, wait until you hear about the next vegetable. It's a food often praised universally for heart health, a staple you probably grew up with. But in older adults, this seemingly innocent green can cause your brain to bleed instead of clot. It's a shocking reversal of expectations, a true heart-healthy betrayal that can steal your independence in an instant. If you're still watching and finding these insights helpful, please comment number 1 below to let me know you're with me. Now, let's talk about broccoli. Most of us grew up being told, eat your broccoli. It was the classic symbol of health, a vibrant green Florence on our plates, often met with a sigh from younger selves, but accepted as undeniably good for us. And for good reason. Broccoli is packed with nutrients that support heart health, reduce inflammation, and help fight disease. Rich in fiber, antioxidants, and essential vitamins, it's been a nutritional champion for decades. But what if I told you that for many older adults, especially those on heart medications, broccoli could quietly become a dangerous risk factor for a brain bleed? It's not about the broccoli itself being inherently bad. It's about what's inside it and how it interacts with the aging body, particularly with the medications so many seniors take every day. Broccoli contains high amounts of vitamin K, a fat-soluble vitamin essential for blood clotting. In younger individuals, this vitamin helps heal wounds and prevent excessive bleeding, a vital function. But in seniors, especially those taking blood thinners like warfarin, Plavix, or even daily aspirin, this crucial vitamin can create a delicate, even dangerous imbalance. When consumed in high or inconsistent amounts, vitamin K can interfere with these vital medications, making your blood either too thick to prevent clots or, more dangerously, too thin to clot properly. The alarming truth is, this silent imbalance can occur without you ever feeling a thing, without any warning signs, until it's too late. When blood becomes excessively thin in an aging body, especially where blood vessels are already more fragile, it dramatically increases the risk of a hemorrhagic stroke, a devastating brain bleed. Let me share with you the story of one of my patients. Mrs. Clara Newton, an 82-year-old retired elementary school teacher from Pennsylvania, was always health conscious. She followed her doctor's advice, took her medication faithfully, and every evening she steamed a bowl of broccoli with olive oil and lemon. "It keeps my heart young," she would say, with pride, a testament to her belief in healthy eating. What she didn't realize is that her daily dose of broccoli, seemingly innocent, was slowly interfering with her blood-thinning medication. Her blood became unstable. Her INR, a key measure of blood clotting, fluctuated dangerously without warning. One afternoon, after a mild headache and sudden confusion, Clara collapsed in her living room. At the ER, scans revealed she had suffered a hemorrhagic stroke, bleeding inside the brain, not due to trauma or high blood pressure, but because her blood had become too thin to clot properly. When her daughter told me about the broccoli, my heart sank, not because broccoli is bad, but because even something healthy, when misunderstood or unchecked, can tip the balance in a fragile body. The combination of vitamin K and anticoagulants had created a silent storm, and the result was life-altering. Clara survived, but she now walks with a walker, and her speech is slower. This is why consistency and awareness matter. If you are on blood thinners, it's not that you can't eat broccoli, but you must eat it in consistent amounts, and you must communicate with your doctor. Sudden increases or decreases in vitamin K can cause medication to become ineffective, either leading to dangerous blood clots or brain bleeds that could take away your independence in an instant. If this story makes you nervous, it should. But the goal isn't fear, it's awareness. Because next we're going to talk about a vegetable that seems harmless, even refreshing, yet it can quietly dehydrate your brain overnight and throw off your blood pressure while you sleep. Yes, we're talking about romaine lettuce, and what I'm about to share may surprise you even more. If you're over 65, there's a good chance that at some point someone told you that a salad for dinner is a smart, healthy choice. It makes perfect sense, doesn't it? Light, low in calories, easy on digestion. It seems like the ideal meal, especially when managing weight and supporting heart health are top priorities. Many of my patients have embraced this advice for decades, believing they were making the best possible decisions for their aging bodies. But here's a truth that most seniors are never told, a truth that could transform your understanding of that innocent-looking bowl of greens. That innocent bowl of romaine lettuce at night might quietly set you up for brain damage by morning. Let me explain why. Romaine lettuce, while indeed rich in water and fiber, is also a natural diuretic. That means it gently stimulates your body to eliminate water. In a younger, well-hydrated person, this effect is barely noticeable, easily compensated for by the body's robust regulatory systems. But in an older adult, especially someone on blood pressure medications or other diuretics, this gentle water loss can be just enough to subtly tip the body into dehydration, particularly overnight. Now, most people think of dehydration as something you feel acutely: intense thirst, a dry mouth, or profound fatigue. But in older adults, the signs of dehydration are often subtle and easily missed. Your body simply doesn't give the same urgent thirst cues it did when you were younger. And your blood vessels, those vital pathways to your brain, rely on proper hydration to stay open, flexible, and able to carry oxygen effectively. When you're dehydrated at night, even mildly, your blood thickens. Think of it like syrup instead of water trying to move through fragile, aging vessels. That thicker blood can form small clots, especially if you're already prone, due to conditions like atrial fibrillation, vascular disease, or if you're taking multiple medications. These tiny clots may not be felt at first, but one wrong shift in blood pressure while you're sleeping, and that clot can lodge itself in your brain, cutting off blood flow in an instant. That's exactly what happened to my patient, Mr. Leon Carter, a 75-year-old retired factory worker from Indianapolis. Leon was in relatively good health, on medication for high blood pressure, and like many of you, he was diligently trying to, quote, eat clean. Every night, without fail, he made himself a big salad with romaine lettuce, cucumbers, and a light vinegar dressing. He skipped heavy meals, exercised daily, and stayed active in his church community. For years, this routine was his badge of healthy living. But one morning, Leon's wife found him confused, struggling to speak, his right arm alarmingly weak. Leon had suffered a mild stroke while sleeping. His hospital labs told a complicated story. They showed clear signs of mild dehydration and increased blood viscosity and subtle electrolyte imbalances, just enough to set off a cascade of clot formation within his delicate brain vessels. He looked at me from his hospital bed, his eyes filled with a heartbreaking blend of confusion and betrayal. "Doc," he whispered, his words still a little jumbled. "I thought I was being healthy. I didn't think lettuce could do this to me." It's a question that stays with me, because it's far more common than you think. It's a heartbreaking reminder that romaine itself isn't evil, but in the wrong context and at the wrong time, it can be the tipping point your brain can't afford. Here's what's important to remember. Your body at 70 or 80 is not the same as it was at 40. Even small fluid losses through diuretic foods, medications, or poor nighttime hydration can change your blood chemistry enough to make it clot more easily. So if you're enjoying salad at night, especially with romaine, be sure you're drinking enough water throughout the day. Consider shifting your salad to lunchtime when your body can process it without compromising overnight hydration. Monitor your blood pressure carefully and be especially cautious if you're taking medications that already pull fluid from your system. Leon recovered, but it took months of speech therapy and physical rehabilitation. He told me later, "I wish someone had told me that even healthy food has rules when you're older. And that's why I'm telling you now, not to scare you, but to empower you. Because what's coming next may surprise you even more." There's a common vegetable in most kitchens, one that seems sweet and harmless, yet when eaten raw, especially by seniors, it can silently spike your blood sugar and disturb blood flow to your brain, all while you're asleep. Yes, I'm talking about raw carrots, and what you'll hear next may change the way you look at your evening snacks forever. 4. Raw carrots, a hidden spike for your brain. At first glance, raw carrots seem like the perfect snack. Crunchy, naturally sweet, low in calories, and often praised for their beta-carotene and vision-boosting properties. Many older adults keep them in the fridge as a guilt-free treat, something to nibble on at night while watching TV, or as a healthy alternative to chips or sweets. They embody the image of pure, unadulterated health. But here's the truth most seniors never hear, a truth I've seen play out in far too many patients who thought they were making the best choices for their bodies. Raw carrots, when eaten at the wrong time or in excess, can quietly disrupt your brain's blood flow and increase your stroke risk while you sleep. It's not the carrot itself that's dangerous. It's what it does to your blood sugar and insulin levels, and how that impacts your brain's vascular system, especially after age 65. Raw carrots, although lower on the glycemic index than processed sugar, contain a fast-acting carbohydrate load when eaten alone and uncooked. In younger adults with strong insulin sensitivity and stable vascular tone, this isn't a major concern. But in seniors, especially those with prediabetes, type 2 diabetes, or compromised circulation, even a modest spike in blood sugar at night can trigger a dangerous chain reaction. Here's what happens. You eat a handful of raw carrots before bed, thinking it's a smart snack. Within minutes, your blood sugar rises. Your body then releases insulin to bring that sugar down. But in many older adults, insulin responses are slower or overly aggressive. This can cause your blood sugar to swing sharply downward during the night, a phenomenon known as nocturnal hypoglycemia. While this may sound harmless, it isn't. When blood sugar crashes during sleep, the body responds by releasing stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. These hormones tighten blood vessels, increase blood pressure, and make the blood more prone to clotting, all dangerous in a brain already dealing with narrowed or stiff arteries. This sudden pressure surge, combined with the overnight dehydration many seniors experience, can cause tiny blood clots to form in the cerebral vessels, leading to a silent stroke or a transient ischemic attack. TIA. This is exactly what happened to my patient, Mrs. Leah Henderson, 78, a retired nurse from Portland. She was active, sharp, and proud of maintaining her health naturally. She'd cut out all processed sweets and replaced them with raw vegetables, especially carrots. "It's my bedtime snack," she told me proudly. For months, Leah believed she was doing everything right. But Leah began waking up some mornings feeling off, mild confusion, dizziness, even tingling in her hand. She brushed it off as just getting older. Then one morning she couldn't remember how to make coffee, the same routine she'd done every day for 40 years. Her husband rushed her to the ER. The diagnosis: a small but real stroke, likely caused by blood sugar fluctuations and vascular spasm overnight. Her labs revealed inconsistent blood glucose patterns and signs of early insulin resistance. And her vascular scan showed microclotting in the brain's tiny arteries. "I thought I was doing everything right," Leah whispered to me, her voice filled with a heartbreaking disbelief. "I never imagined carrots could hurt me." Her words stay with me to this day, because it's not about the carrot. It's about how our aging bodies process food differently, and how the choices that helped us at 40 can quietly betray us at 75. If you enjoy carrots, don't panic, but be smart. Never eat them raw and alone before bed. Pair them with protein or healthy fat during the daytime, like hummus or a boiled egg, to blunt the sugar effect. And always discuss your evening eating habits with your doctor, especially if you're on medications for blood sugar, blood pressure, or cholesterol. Leah recovered, thankfully, but her independence was shaken, and her confidence in her routine forever altered. She now shares her story with others in her retirement community, warning them of the innocent habits that almost cost me everything. And if you think carrots are the only vegetable hiding a risk like this, think again, because next we're going to talk about something far more potent. A vegetable that's considered medicinal in many cultures, revered for its healing properties. Yet in older adults, it can thin your blood so much that a single blood vessel rupture could change your life overnight, leading to a catastrophic brain bleed. Yes, I'm talking about garlic, and the truth might leave you stunned. Garlic has long been praised as a miracle food. In fact, for centuries it's been a cornerstone of traditional medicine, celebrated for its power to lower blood pressure, reduce cholesterol, fight inflammation, and boost immunity. Many seniors I've met proudly include fresh garlic in their daily meals, or diligently take garlic supplements, convinced they're doing something profoundly healthy for their hearts and circulation. This belief is deeply ingrained, a testament to garlic's ancient reputation. But here's the truth most people never hear: a hidden reality that can turn this revered remedy into a silent threat for older adults. For older adults, especially those already taking blood thinners, aspirin, or certain heart medications, garlic can quietly become a dangerous trigger for brain bleeding. You see, garlic is a potent, natural anticoagulant. It helps prevent the formation of blood clots. This sounds incredibly beneficial, doesn't it? But when combined with common prescription medications like warfarin, Plavix, Xarelto, or even low-dose aspirin, garlic can push your blood into an overthin state. A single clove may seem harmless, but inside your aging body, it can tip the scales from protection to peril. And for seniors with already fragile blood vessels in the brain, that overthin state can be catastrophic. Imagine your blood becoming too slippery, too unable to clot when it needs to most. This can happen in ways you won't feel until it's too late. Our blood vessels thin and weaken with age, making them more fragile and more likely to rupture under pressure or when clotting is impaired. A small bleed in a younger brain might be manageable, but in someone over 70, with blood made too thin by this combination, it can mean a permanent loss of memory, speech, or the ability to live alone. Let me tell you about one of my patients, Mr. Thomas Reeves. Thomas, 81, a retired railroad engineer from Missouri, was the definition of self-reliant. After a minor heart procedure, he was prescribed a blood thinner and told to avoid dangerous interactions. But Thomas, ever diligent in his health, had read an article online about the healing power of garlic. He decided to take a garlic supplement daily, 600 milligrams of concentrated garlic extract, plus an extra raw clove in his dinner every night. He didn't tell his doctor. He didn't think it mattered. 3 weeks later, Thomas began experiencing severe headaches and light sensitivity. Then came nausea, confusion, and slurred speech. By the time his wife got him to the hospital, he had already suffered a hemorrhagic stroke, a bleed inside the brain. His brain scan showed a rupture in a small vessel that should have held, but his blood was simply too thin to clot. When we reviewed his medication list and supplements, the culprit became chillingly clear. It wasn't just the prescription, it was the garlic. "I was just trying to help my heart," he told me during his recovery. His voice weakened. "I had no idea I was setting myself up for this." Thomas had no warning signs, no chest pain, no falls, just an invisible shift in his blood chemistry until one tiny artery in his brain gave way. This is how delicate the balance becomes after 70. One drop too far, and it doesn't take much to cause devastating harm. It's important to understand this. Garlic, especially in supplement form, is much more concentrated than what you use in cooking. And it's easy to underestimate how powerful a natural remedy can be when combined with modern medicine. This doesn't mean garlic is bad, but it must be treated with the same caution and respect as any pharmaceutical drug. If you're over 65, taking any anticoagulant, or have had previous strokes or TIAs, talk to your doctor before using garlic supplements. Monitor for signs of bleeding, bruising, dizziness, or unexplained headaches. Thomas eventually returned home, but he now needs daily assistance and has lost part of his short-term memory. He's one of many seniors who believe they were doing the right thing, unaware that good intentions can go terribly wrong without proper guidance. So if you thought garlic was the only hidden risk in your kitchen, think again. Because next, we're going to uncover a common household vegetable so ordinary it's in almost every pantry that can steal your balance, disrupt your heart rhythm, and silently trigger brain fog or dizziness without you realizing it. Yes, I'm talking about onions. And what you'll hear next may change how you cook forever. Onions are undeniably one of the most common vegetables in the American kitchen. From simmering stews that fill homes with warmth to crisp, vibrant salads, they are woven into the very fabric of our culinary culture. Flavorful, affordable, and widely celebrated for their heart-healthy compounds, many older adults cook with onions daily, genuinely believing they are making a smart, wholesome choice for their well-being. And in moderation for a younger body, that often holds true. But for older adults, especially those navigating the complexities of blood pressure medications or managing existing heart conditions, onions can quietly become a subtle yet significant risk to the brain, potentially causing unpredictable drops in blood pressure, oxygen deprivation, and even triggering the silent formation of blood clots. It might sound surprising. How can a vegetable so often praised for lowering cholesterol and reducing inflammation suddenly turn dangerous? The answer lies in how onions interact with the delicate, aging vascular system, and, crucially, what happens when they are combined with medications that are already working to lower your blood pressure or thin your blood. You see, onions contain a powerful compound called quercetin. This robust antioxidant acts as a natural vasodilator, meaning it actively works to open up your blood vessels and, consequently, lowers your blood pressure. While that sounds inherently helpful, when your system is already being pharmacologically medicated to achieve this same effect, you are, in essence, doubling down. This can lead to a dangerous state known as hypotension, an unsafe, sudden drop in blood pressure. This sudden, unsafe drop in blood pressure becomes particularly perilous during the night when your body is resting and, arguably, most vulnerable. Low blood pressure might seem harmless, but here's the frightening truth. When blood pressure falls too low in older adults, especially during sleep, the brain receives significantly less oxygen and vital nutrients. This deprivation triggers a protective, yet dangerous, reflexive narrowing of blood vessels, a process known as vasoconstriction, as the body desperately tries to protect its most vital organs. And when these fragile, often already narrowed or calcified vessels constrict too fast or unevenly, the blood can easily pool and form dangerous clots, cutting off essential flow to parts of the brain. I saw this play out tragically with one of my patients, Mr. George Langston, an 80-year-old retired high school football coach from Georgia. George had always been a fervent believer in natural medicine. After his doctor prescribed him a beta blocker for high blood pressure, George decided to enhance the medication's effect naturally. Every night for 2 months, he ate a generous serving of raw onions in a vinegar-based salad, convinced he was doubling down on heart protection. At first, he felt great, lighter, more energetic. Then came the lightheadedness in the mornings, followed by disorienting dizziness when getting out of bed. One evening, he stood up too fast and blacked out, hitting his shoulder on the kitchen table. The next morning, George awoke profoundly confused. He couldn't remember what day it was, and his words were slurred. His wife, alarmed, rushed him to the ER. The diagnosis was a small ischemic stroke. A blood clot had lodged in a vessel near the speech center of his brain. His blood pressure chart showed significant overnight drops, followed by reactive surges in the early morning. It was then that his doctors discovered his supplement habits, his onion-heavy diet, and how their interaction with his medication had overdilated and then rapidly constricted his blood vessels. It was a perfect storm for clot formation, and the outcome was life-altering. George recovered with therapy, but he is no longer able to drive and sometimes struggles painfully with names. "I just wanted to help my heart," he told me, his voice heavy with regret, "but I didn't know I was starving my brain. And that's what I want you to truly take to heart." As we age, our bodies become exquisitely more sensitive to fluctuations in hydration, in blood sugar, and especially in blood pressure. Foods that were perfectly helpful at 40 or 50 can behave very differently at 75 or 80, particularly when paired with prescription drugs. Onions can still be part of a healthy diet, but for seniors on heart medications, large amounts, especially raw and eaten at night, can cause dangerous dips in blood pressure that increase the risk of clotting, confusion, and even stroke. If you're waking up dizzy, if your mornings feel foggy, or if you notice random bruises or strange fatigue, it might not be just aging. It might be your blood pressure dropping too low. Talk to your doctor. Track what you eat. Be cautious with home remedies. Your heart and brain may not always agree on what's helpful. Now, if you thought onions were the only everyday food that could quietly work against your brain, think again. There's another one you absolutely need to know about. It's a food often served at breakfast, sweet and golden, and seemingly innocent. Yet it is capable of silently spiking your blood pressure and disturbing your brain's rhythm, all while you're asleep. Yes, next we need to talk about corn. And the story I'm about to share might make you rethink what you put on your plate first thing in the morning forever. If you're still watching and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 1 below to let me know you're here. Now, let's keep going with point number 7. To most Americans, corn is comfort food. Whether it's served as a warm side dish at a family cookout, stirred into a hearty soup, or simply boiled and buttered for a cozy dinner, corn feels familiar, safe. For many older adults, it's part of the diet they've trusted for decades. A taste of home. But what if I told you that this sweet, golden vegetable, especially when eaten in certain ways, could silently raise your risk of a stroke while you sleep? You see, corn is often misunderstood. Though it's technically a vegetable, nutritionally, it behaves more like a starch, rich in natural sugars that quickly convert to glucose in the bloodstream. For seniors, especially those with even mild insulin resistance, high blood pressure, or pre-existing vascular issues, this post-meal sugar spike isn't just an inconvenience. It's a neurological threat, a silent destabilizer to the delicate balance your brain needs to thrive. Let's talk about what happens in your body when you eat corn, particularly at dinner or close to bedtime. Your blood sugar rises rapidly, your body releases insulin to manage it. But in many older adults, insulin doesn't work as effectively. Instead of a smooth decline, sugar levels can crash, often in the early morning hours while you're still asleep. This sudden drop forces your body to respond with stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, which constrict blood vessels and increase blood pressure quickly. This roller coaster effect, blood sugar instability followed by vascular stress, is a perfect environment for microclots to form in the small vessels of the brain. That's exactly what happened to my patient, Mrs. Darlene Abbott, 77, a retired librarian from Iowa. Darlene had always lived simply, read books, attended church, and made meals from scratch. Every morning, she'd eat a bowl of corn grits topped with a touch of honey. In the evening, she enjoyed corn on the cob with dinner, a taste of her childhood, she'd say. But over time, she began feeling tired in the mornings, dizzy when standing up, and sometimes struggled to focus. Her blood pressure was erratic, normal one day, spiking the next. Then came the morning her husband found her staring blankly, unable to move the left side of her body. She had suffered a minor ischemic stroke overnight. Tests revealed elevated fasting glucose, thickened blood viscosity, and microvascular damage in her brain. The culprit wasn't just age. It was the regular intake of starchy, high-glycemic corn, especially at night, which disrupted her glucose balance and helped form tiny blood clots in the cerebral arteries. "I thought I was eating like my mother did," Darlene told me tearfully. "I had no idea something that tasted so innocent could be hurting me." The lesson here is not that you must eliminate corn completely, but you must respect how your aging body handles it. After 65, the pancreas slows down. Circulation to the brain becomes more fragile. What once was harmless can now set off a silent cascade of changes. So if corn is part of your routine, grits, cornflakes, corn on the cob, don't eat it alone or before bed. Pair it with protein. Avoid it late at night. And if you're diabetic, borderline diabetic, or taking blood pressure medication, talk to your doctor. Your brain safety may depend on it. And if you think corn is the last safe food that could turn harmful with age, think again. Because next, we'll dive into a vegetable praised for its elegance and detox power. But in reality, it can quietly drain your body of fluid overnight, destabilize your circulation, and set the stage for a dangerous fall or stroke before sunrise. Yes, I'm talking about asparagus. And what you're about to hear may forever change the way you think about your evening meals. At first glance, asparagus feels like one of the healthiest vegetables you could choose. Elegant on the plate, light on calories, and often featured in heart-healthy or detox-friendly diets, asparagus has long been praised by doctors and dietitians alike. For many older adults who've turned away from heavy meats or processed foods, it's become a staple, especially in evening meals. It carries an aura of purity, of clean eating, a vegetable that promises to flush and cleanse. But beneath that reputation for purity lies a silent danger that most older adults are never warned about. You see, asparagus is a natural diuretic. That means it encourages your body to shed water, not just through digestion, but at a cellular level. In moderation and during the day, this might be a helpful trait, assisting with fluid balance. But when eaten at night, especially by seniors who are already on blood pressure medications, diuretics, or blood thinners, asparagus can quietly dehydrate the body. It reduces blood volume, subtly pulling fluid from your system and triggering a cascade of reactions that may ultimately lead to blood clots while you sleep. Here's what's really happening inside the aging body. As we grow older, our bodies lose their ability to regulate hydration efficiently. The sensation of thirst diminishes, kidneys function less aggressively, and blood vessels, especially the tiny, delicate ones in the brain, become more fragile and less responsive. When you consume asparagus at night, its mild but real diuretic effects pull water from the bloodstream, quietly shrinking blood volume as you sleep. Lower blood volume causes the blood to thicken, increasing its viscosity. Think of your arteries like garden hoses. The less fluid running through, the harder it is for that fluid to move smoothly. The thicker the blood, the easier it is for clots to form, especially in narrowed or aging arteries. These clots don't always announce themselves with pain. Often they build silently, then travel to the brain, lodging in a vessel just wide enough to let blood through until it's not. That's exactly what happened to one of my patients, Miss Joanne Ramsey, 79, a retired school counselor from Colorado Springs. Joanne prided herself on her healthy habits. She avoided red meat, walked every day, and cooked nearly every meal from scratch. Her favorite dinner? Steamed asparagus with lemon and a touch of olive oil. It made me feel clean, she told me. Joanne was also on medication for high blood pressure and had a history of mild atrial fibrillation, both of which already placed her at risk for clotting. She didn't drink much water in the evenings, fearing nighttime trips to the bathroom. One morning, she didn't wake up the same. She was confused, couldn't recall her address, and slurred her words. Her husband immediately called 911. A CT scan showed a small ischemic stroke caused by a clot that had lodged in the brain's language center. Blood tests revealed elevated hematocrit, a clear sign her blood had become too concentrated. Her hydration levels were dangerously low, and her doctors traced the pattern back to her nightly asparagus meals, compounded by diuretic medications and insufficient fluid intake. It wasn't the asparagus alone, but its timing, frequency, and combination with her medications that created the perfect storm. Joanne recovered after weeks of speech therapy. But she told me something I'll never forget. I was trying to do everything right. I didn't know I was draining myself dry in my sleep. This story isn't shared to make you fear asparagus, but to respect how our bodies change after 65. When you're younger, the kidneys rebound, vessels respond, and dehydration corrects itself easily. But in older age, even gentle foods can have outsized effects when paired with medications and fragile circulation. If you enjoy asparagus, don't stop eating it, but never eat it late in the day without consciously hydrating. And avoid pairing it with other diuretics or blood thinners without your doctor's guidance. Most importantly, listen to your body when it whispers. Early signs like dry mouth, nighttime dizziness, or waking up with fatigue could be telling you something far more serious. And if you thought asparagus was the last healthy vegetable with hidden danger, think again, because next we'll explore a vegetable often praised for its eye and skin benefits. You've seen it in anti-aging products, multivitamins, even beauty creams. But when consumed in excess, especially by older adults, it can build up quietly in your brain, mimic symptoms of a tumor, and threaten your vision, your memory, and your independence. Yes, I'm talking about tomatoes, and what I'll reveal next may be the most unsettling truth of all. For many older Americans, tomatoes are a symbol of freshness and vitality. Whether sliced into a vibrant summer salad, cooked into a rich simmering sauce, or simply served atop a sandwich, they feel light, healthy, and wholesome. You've likely been told for years, as I have, that tomatoes are good for your heart, your skin, your vision. And yes, in many ways, they are. They are praised for their antioxidants and vitamins, a staple in kitchens across the country. But what you probably haven't been told is that for people over 65, especially those with circulation issues, neurological conditions, or digestive sensitivities, tomatoes can quietly wreak havoc on your brain, mimicking the signs of a stroke without any warning. Let me explain how. Tomatoes are naturally high in histamines, tyramines, and solanine, compounds that, while harmless to most young and healthy individuals, can become problematic in older adults. Histamines and tyramines in particular can trigger systemic inflammation, elevate blood pressure, and disrupt blood vessel tone, especially within the delicate network of the brain. Solanine, a neurotoxin found in nightshade vegetables like tomatoes, can irritate the nervous system when consumed in large or repeated doses. Now, Add to that the acidity of tomatoes, which can interfere with magnesium and calcium balance, two essential minerals involved in nerve function and vascular tone. Suddenly, you've created a perfect internal storm. This perfect internal storm, vascular instability, nerve disruption, and electrolyte imbalance, is what makes tomatoes a hidden danger for the aging brain. It's no wonder that for some seniors, a heavy tomato-based meal can result in dizziness, throbbing headaches, visual disturbances, slurred speech, and even numbness or weakness in the limbs. These are symptoms that eerily resemble a stroke. And this isn't just theory, a medical hypothesis I've read in a textbook. I've seen it happen with my own patients, witnessed the confusion and fear as they believed they were suffering a devastating brain event. This particular silent saboteur does its work in a uniquely deceptive way. Mrs. Geraldine Hunt, 83, from Charleston, South Carolina, was one of the most vibrant women I've cared for. A retired piano teacher with a profound love for gardening, she believed deeply in food as medicine. Every night, she enjoyed a warm bowl of homemade tomato soup, rich with herbs and a touch of garlic, part of her cherished nightly ritual. She thought she was doing something profoundly wholesome. She wasn't overweight. She didn't smoke. Her blood pressure was well controlled, as she often proudly put it. But one morning, Geraldine awoke feeling profoundly confused. She had a terrible headache. Her vision was blurry, her speech slurred. Her daughter rushed her to the ER, fearing the worst, a stroke. Yet when the scans came back, there were no clots, no bleeding. Her brain looked structurally normal. But her labs told a more complicated story. Elevated inflammatory markers, significant electrolyte shifts, and mild cerebral vasospasm, meaning her brain's blood vessels were constricting unpredictably. This wasn't a classic stroke. It was what we call a stroke mimic, a condition that looks and feels exactly like a stroke, but is caused by chemical and vascular changes rather than an actual clot or bleed. After a full review of her habits, it became clear the nightly tomato soup, combined with her low-sodium diet, mild dehydration, and aging blood vessels, had set her up for this terrifying episode. Her brain was overwhelmed by histamines, pressure swings, and electrolyte depletion. It didn't take a blood clot to cause damage. It just took the wrong chemistry at the wrong time. Geraldine improved with care, but not fully. Her short-term memory remained foggy, and she developed anxiety around eating. "I thought I was doing everything right," she told me, her voice heavy with regret. "But my body doesn't react like it used to." That's the core message I want every older adult to understand. Your body changes dramatically after 65. Foods that were once healing can now agitate, disrupt, and even endanger your vascular system and brain. Tomatoes aren't evil. But for many seniors, especially those sensitive to nightshades, they need to be approached with caution. Avoid eating them late at night. Watch for signs like swelling, headaches, or foggy thinking. And if you take blood pressure, heart, or nerve medications, talk to your doctor about how tomato products might be affecting you. One bowl of soup shouldn't derail your health. But if you're not listening to your body, it just might. And if the story of Geraldine made you pause, it should, because she's not alone. Many older Americans live one meal away from an unexpected health scare, not from fast food or processed snacks, but from foods they've trusted for years. So what now? If even vegetables can pose these hidden risks, what can you eat? What's truly safe? Well, in the final section of this series, I'm going to walk you through what does protect the brain. Real, senior-safe foods that nourish without harm, and simple meal strategies that can keep your mind sharp, your balance steady, and your independence intact. Because after all the fear and all the facts, what we really want is hope. And that's exactly what I'm going to give you next. After hearing about these 9 ordinary vegetables, each with their own hidden risks to the aging brain, it is entirely natural to feel a sense of surprise, even a little unease. Perhaps you are sitting there now thinking, how could something I've trusted my whole life, something so universally praised as healthy, suddenly become dangerous now? Or perhaps you're wondering if it's even safe to eat anymore, if the very foundation of your healthy diet has been quietly undermined. But I want to say this as clearly and compassionately as I can. This is not about fear. This is about knowledge. As a neurologist who has worked with seniors for decades, I've come to understand something profoundly simple, yet immensely powerful. Your body after 65 is simply not the same as it was at 40 or 50. This isn't a judgment. It's a physiological reality. Your blood vessels become more sensitive, naturally losing some of their youthful flexibility. Your hydration needs subtly change, and the signals your body sends for thirst can diminish. Crucially, the medications many seniors rely on to manage conditions like high blood pressure or heart disease profoundly shift the way food interacts with your entire system. And your brain, that most delicate and vital organ, depends on stable, predictable support, especially during the long hours of sleep. Recognizing this new reality is the first step toward true brain protection. Each patient story I've shared today, from Harold, whose daily spinach salad contributed to a silent stroke, to Clara, whose broccoli habit dangerously thinned her blood, to Leon, whose nightly romaine dehydrated his brain, and Leah, who was unknowingly harmed by healthy carrots, or Thomas, whose garlic supplement caused a brain bleed, to George, whose onions led to a dangerous pressure drop, to Darlene, whose corn grits caused microvascular damage, to Joanne, whose asparagus drained her dry, and Geraldine, whose tomato soup mimicked a stroke. These are not rare. These are common, everyday seniors trying to do the right thing. Good people, smart people, people who read labels, take vitamins, and follow their doctor's advice. But they were missing one key ingredient: context. You see, health is not just about what you eat. It's about when you eat it, how you prepare it, and with what else you combine it. It's about understanding how your medications, your hydration level, your blood pressure, your sleep patterns, and your unique physiological changes all intersect with the food you put on your plate. And it's especially about how your brain, the command center of your independence, responds to these choices as you age. This intricate web of interactions is where the silent dangers often lie hidden, transforming a seemingly benign meal into a potential neurological threat. Context, in this sense, becomes medicine itself. But here's the good news, and it is truly profound. You are not powerless in this new reality. In fact, quite the opposite. The very act of gaining this awareness is medicine. What you choose to do with what you now know, that is the moment everything changes. This knowledge isn't meant to restrict you, but to liberate you from unknowingly harming yourself. It empowers you to make conscious, informed decisions that genuinely support your brain health, rather than leaving you vulnerable to hidden risks. Your power lies in your ability to choose, to adapt, and to advocate for your own well-being with newfound clarity. So what can you do right now to protect your brain? Let's start with the most fundamental action. Simplify. Go back to real, whole, nourishing foods. Think about the kind of unprocessed, natural foods your grandparents grew up with. This includes cooked leafy greens, in moderation. It means vibrant berries, healthy nuts, hydrating fruits like melon, and lean proteins that provide steady energy without sharp blood sugar spikes or dangerous crashes. These foundational foods, consumed thoughtfully, form the bedrock of a brain-safe diet. They nourish your body without introducing the complex interactions that can become problematic with age. Your second crucial action step involves timing and hydration mastery. Make it a habit to eat your heavier meals earlier in the day, giving your body ample time to digest and process food before sleep. This prevents overnight blood sugar fluctuations and digestive stress that can impact brain blood flow. And, critically, do not skip hydration at night. Even a small glass of room temperature water before bed can make all the difference in maintaining proper blood volume and viscosity, preventing the subtle dehydration that thickens blood and increases clot risk while you sleep. Conscious hydration is a silent guardian for your brain. The third and perhaps most vital action is to partner actively with your doctor. Bring this knowledge, these insights, into your appointments. Don't be afraid to ask specific questions. Is this supplement okay with my current medications? Should I avoid this particular food at night, given my health conditions? Is this vegetable thinning my blood too much or causing my blood sugar to spike? A good doctor, one committed to your well-being, will not dismiss your concerns. They will work with you to adjust your habits to your changing body, creating a personalized plan that truly protects your brain. Your doctor is your ally. Equip them with your observations and questions. Because you are not the same person you were 30 years ago, and that's not just okay, it's a testament to your journey. You are wiser now, more experienced, more attuned to the subtle messages your body sends. You are more capable of listening to your body when it whispers, and stepping in before it has to scream. This wisdom of age is your greatest asset. Embrace it. It allows you to navigate the complexities of health with a deeper understanding, to adapt your choices, and to truly honor the unique needs of your maturing body and brain. I believe you deserve more than just years added to your life. You deserve clarity, mobility, memory, and confidence. You deserve mornings that don't start with dizziness, and evenings that don't end in confusion. You deserve a brain that serves you well, one that allows you to live fully, independently, and joyfully, not one that slips silently away because of something as simple as a misunderstood salad or an innocent bedtime snack. This future of robust brain health is within your reach, powered by the knowledge you now possess and the intentional choices you are prepared to make. So I invite you to take one small, intentional step today. Maybe you move your usual dinner salad to lunchtime. Perhaps you start checking labels for vitamin K content if you're on blood thinners, or for carbohydrate load if you're managing blood sugar. Maybe you simply pour that one extra glass of room temperature water before bed tonight. Whatever it is, let it be intentional. Let it come from a place of strength and self-care, not from fear, because you are not fragile. You are awakening. And in your awareness, your wisdom, and your ability to act, that is what truly protects your brain, now and for years to come. You are never too old to protect your future. You are never too late to become your own best advocate, equipped with knowledge and conviction. And you are certainly never too wise to keep learning, especially when your brain, your independence, and your life are at stake. Let this be your wake-up call. And let this next chapter, filled with better choices, safer habits, and a deeper understanding of your body, be the most empowered one yet. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Take a moment to reflect and share one thing you've learned and plan to apply in your own life in the comments below. Let's support each other on this journey toward embracing these truths. If you found this video helpful, please leave a comment with 1. If not, feel free to comment with 0 to let me know how I can make better content for you. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more insights like this. Thank you for watching. And here's to living life on your own terms.